speaking with our guest today. We have here an actor, a producer, a writer, a hilarious New Yorker. Please help me in welcoming Robert Amico to the show.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, everybody out there in Maeya TV land. Now, Robert, I always like to start with kind of getting a feel of you and your roots. So where are you from originally?
I am from Brooklyn, New York. And when you're from Brooklyn, New York, everywhere else is Tokyo.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
It's a New Yorker thing?
Yeah.
You gotta love a New Yorker. So you're from Brooklyn, New York. I don't know, I say that New York is one of my favorite places in the world.
Good.
So growing up in Brooklyn, how old were you and when did you discover that you wanted to be an artist?
Well, I studied, I was a musician first at 7 years old. I studied with this incredible jazz musician, Dave Barron. He was 6'7", 300 pounds black man who scared the heck out of me. So you know that I was going to play good because I didn't want to get him angry.
Right.
The guitar was bigger than I was.
So you play jazz guitar?
No, I don't. The guitar was jazz, but I didn't play it.
Oh, okay. You just play guitar.
I play guitar. I play every day. I've had rock bands and toured. I try and play 2 to 3 hours every day even now.
Oh wow, that's amazing. But somewhere in your journey you kind of changed and became an actor, but
Yes.
we want to talk about that, but we also want to talk about your teenage years because you have had an interesting life.
Yes, I did. New York growing up was a hot plate for creativity. I was a young hippie at 15. Well, let me backtrack. I grew up in Brooklyn. I was a little bit of a runt, and I was always getting beat up. I was in fist fights twice a week as a young kid. I had my nose broken the first time at 7 years old. It was tough and ragged. So by the time I was 15, I said, the heck with this, and any chance I get, I would head to Greenwich Village in New York. And then at 15, I became a young hippie and hung out in Greenwich Village with all the great Greenwich Village people at the time, Andy Warhol, Timothy Leary, Jimi Hendrix, Bob Dylan. Played all the places Bob Dylan did with my guitar, and I took it from there.
Right, so you had like actual friendships with Jimi Hendrix.
Oh yeah.
Bob Dylan.
Oh yeah. Jimmy was beautiful, beautiful spirit.
Wow, that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Any fun stories?
Ooh, okay.
Give us one.
I used to hang out with Andy Warhol. It was after the Factory, but it was still all these unique people. So I would hang out with Timothy Leary, Andy Warhol, and we would go out to lunch at the Edison Hotel up on the Upper West Side. We would have lunch, and Andy would always draw on a napkin, original drawings and stuff. And being a stupid young kid, I would just wipe my mouth with them and throw them away. They got to be worth about $1 million each.
Right.
And that's one of many stories as a young hippie.
That's hilarious. So did you ever get to meet Basquiat? Were you around the 80s?
No, I did not. I knew of him, but you know, he was an artist that was always very secluded. He would always be in his studio painting. I know that he never really thought he would be able to make money or be famous. He hung out with that whole, they called it the Chelsea crowd at the Chelsea Hotel on 23rd Street. I was more Greenwich Village. I was more Bob Dylan, Folk City, all the musicians, all the hippies, sad to say, all the drugs.
Yeah.
And that's the way it was. But it was about love. It really was about love. Even out here, I came out as a young hippie in 1970, came out and hung out. And I went to a place called The Sauce. I came out for 3 days, and it was a vegetarian place on Sunset Boulevard called The Sauce. And I always wondered why all the waitresses were dressed in white, and they were the owner's wives. So they said, don't stay at that creepy motel for 3 days. Come and stay at our house up in the hills. And I wound up hanging out at Frank Zappa's log cabin, hanging out with Mama Cass and the Mamas and Papas, Crosby, Stills and Nash, Neil Young, Joni Mitchell, Joan Baez. And I wound up staying 3 weeks. Came back to New York and did my own thing in New York.
So from 3 days to 3 weeks. Now, speaking of the transition from, being a hippie to a hippie actor, like you have an interesting story about how you became an actor. That includes Andy Warhol. So,
yes, it does.
So you share that.
I was a young hippie hanging out at Timothy Leary's commune, upstate New York, starting at 15 years old. My friend and I would tell on weekends or days off from school, we would tell our parents that we're staying at the other person's house, and we would jump on a Trailways bus up to Millbrook, which was Timothy Leary's commune, and we would go up there and really just hang out and did a lot of mind expanding drugs like LSD. It was legal with all the beat poets, Ginsberg, Jack Kerouac, and all that. But I was very, very shy. And especially when it came to women, I couldn't even sit this close to a woman. I would shake. And it was the summer of love, 1967, 68. And it was all these beautiful women running around naked, and it was free love, but I was a virgin. And I didn't want to be a virgin anymore, but I was so scared I couldn't even talk to women. So I would bug Andy Warhol and I would bug Timothy Leary all the time that I didn't want to be a virgin anymore. And that went on for about 2 years. Flash forward, I'm 17 and a half. It's Saturday afternoon. I'm having lunch in Greenwich Village at a 24-hour Ukrainian diner, which is still there because I was back there 3 months ago, and I went and had lunch there just to reminisce. And I was having lunch with Timothy Leary, Andy Warhol, and a famous musician, which some of you may know, some may not, from the Velvet Underground, Lou Reed, who did Walk on the Wild Side.
Yeah.
And we're having lunch, and who comes walking in but the great acting teacher, Lee Strasberg, with his entourage. And Andy Warhol looks at him, looks at me, and goes, Bobby, that's what you got to do to get over your shyness with the girls. Take acting classes. So he called Lee Strasberg over to the table, and Lee Strasberg goes, "Hi, Andy." And Andy goes, "Bobby, he would like to take acting classes with you." And Lee Strasberg, very stern, looked at me up and down and said, "Okay, come to my classes at Carnegie Hall, Thursday nights, 7 p.m. And here I am, an actor, 54 years later.
54 years.
54 years.
That's an illustrious career. So it started there.
I'm still a virgin.
That never worked out. Isn't that how it goes? Wait, so you start classes with Strasberg.
Paul Newman was my mentor. Al Pacino was in my class. Michael Nori was in my class from Flashdance.
Okay.
The lead in Flashdance. A lot of famous people. Then I was introduced to the Actors Studio through Lee Strasberg. Became a young member there, and that's where I got introduced to Paul Newman, who wound up being my mentor. And many times I would want to get up and work with Lee Strasberg in front of major people, Tony Franciosa, all these major stars at the time. And I always wanted to get up there and work, and every time I did, Paul Newman would stop me and goes, "Listen, Bobby, you're going to see Lee Strasberg make every mistake you're ever going to make as an actor. It's better you watch it from outside. If you're in it, then you feel shy or you feel beat up," because Lee was cruel to people. I remember one time there was one guy who would always brag that his work was always good, and he did a scene for Lee, and it was okay, but you know, you're talking about major stars in the audience like Pacino and De Niro and Marlon Brando, and but he was bragging. He went to Lee Strasberg. I'll never forget it because Lee would cut your legs right off. And he went to Lee Strasberg and he goes, "So what do you think, Lee? Wasn't I great? What do you think?" And Lee said, "Maybe you should be a garbage man." So that was.
And did everybody get silent or did everybody laugh?
Everybody knew that was coming.
Yeah, they just braced themselves for impact.
Yeah, so he never wanted anybody to think they were above anybody else. He wanted you to immerse yourself in using your own emotions to create a believable actor. His quotes to me were always, "Never let them see you act. Be the character, breathe it, live it, create it. Use all 5 of your senses. Use your smell. What does the room smell like in the scene when you walk in? Is it summer or winter? Is it night or day? Put it in your mind. It doesn't matter what you decide as opposed to what the script says. It just matters that you can't have your eyes be vapid. You have to be thinking about something.
Always got to be something behind those
Yeah,
eyes.
you're thinking. I could be thinking about my shopping list. It doesn't matter as long as and if you did your homework on memorization as far as the script, all you have to do is listen to the other actor. And then you have to make it like you know what you're going to say and what the outcome is, but you have to make it fresh like you don't. So all you have to do is really listen to the other actor and your lines will come. We're really reactors, not actors. We react to what the other actor is saying. So that's my training. I'm a hardcore method. I've used it. Make my living now for 54 years as an actor. I'm busier than ever right now, and that's the way it is.
And we love that. So you did make your journey from New York to LA, and what was that like? And
At the end of 1990, I came out here on a Spielberg film and worked 4.5 months every day and never went back. And that film was Hook. So I was one of the pirates in Hook.
Classic film. I'm sure you have some great stories from him.
Became best friends with Robin Williams because I was the only one who could keep up with him. Every day we had people visiting from Michael Jackson, and Robin we would make jokes together. I was the only one who could keep up with him, so we became friends. I loved him. I'm sorry he's gone. He was a beautiful, beautiful person.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's nothing like a Spielberg film. I'm sure the catering was top notch.
It wasn't.
What?
Oops, that's okay.
T.
We had to go, even Robin and Dustin, in our uniforms, we had to go to the commissary and buy a sandwich. There was no lunch, ever.
What? This is like rehearsals, or this is during filming?
This is during filming, 4.5 months.
On a Spielberg film?
Tight.
Oh my God, that lore is crazy, guys.
Yeah.
You can
It's
only get
different
that
now.
kind of
It's
lore
different
here
now.
on Maeya TV.
And the funny part about Hook was Bruce Cohen, who was the second AD on that later on, and for 20 films is the executive producer of all the Steven stuff. Steven set him up. He lives in Malibu next to Steven, and
well, you get those working relationships in the industry. When it works, it works. When people understand how you work, you just kind of form a family team.
my deal with Steven was that I want to learn how to produce. So I was by his side for a lot. I went to one day the scoring of the film with John Williams and the London Symphony Orchestra.
Oh, wow.
So you got to understand Steven. He's like a little boy. So he would explain the music. He'd go and he'd come back one day with a tape, and myself and my friend were the only ones on set. Everybody went to the commissary to lunch, and Steven comes walking in with a boom box and a cassette tape, and he goes, "You gotta listen to this music that John did." And he's dramatizing the whole thing like a little 11-year-old boy.
He's excited.
But he's like a little boy. I'll never forget on the set. It was really hot on the set. We were like basically up on a ship built in the soundstation. We're wearing leather, and it was August, and it was like 120 degrees in there. And Steven was in the middle of adjusting Robin and Dustin Hoffman's performance. In the middle of it, and all of a sudden, in comes Steven's mother, and she starts tucking his shirt in. And goes, "Steven, you can't be doing this looking like a slob." And he's like, "Ma."
Oh my God.
So his creativity comes from being in touch with him always being a little boy.
Well, also, I think he started making films really young, at like
Oh
6
yeah,
or 7.
on sheets in the backyard. Projecting. Yeah.
So he's always known his path. From
And
the
his
very
mom
beginning.
is so beautiful. She had a restaurant on Pico called the Milk Bar.
Huh.
So she looked like who was it? Mary Martin, who played Peter Pan. Remember in Broadway in the
Oh.
she looked like Mary Martin, the actress.
That's funny.
Yeah,
you
she
have
was
so
really
many good
sweet.
stories. You have so many
Yeah,
good
well, I'm
stories.
54 years. I've survived a lot.
You got them all. And so you got all the famous friends.
Yes,
You know everybody.
I do.
But I was telling you when we were talking outside that you kind of remind me of John Turturro.
That's yeah. John and I would always be up for the role. He was a little bit ahead of me in the business, so I would always lose the role to him. Always lose the role. But my John Turturro story, which I got to tell him and I made him cry, was I grew up very poor in Brooklyn. So on Saturdays, if I wasn't going to the library and traveling the world through books, I was either working with my dad with tools, working on the car, or he would take me up to this area which was being developed and houses were being built. And there was this one man building 6 houses by himself. So we would go every Saturday and watch him. And when the man, after about the 3rd time there, he saw my interest and my eyes were really big about how he makes it. And I had a lot of questions. So he took me in the house and he showed me this is how you put the woodwork, you cut it at this angle, all of this. It wound up being John Turturro's father.
Wow.
So if you ever saw the film that John Turturro did about his father, but I didn't know it was John Turturro's father, all growing up until about 15 years ago. John Turturro did a whole film about his father, and at the end of the film, he has an actual voicemail from his real father. When I heard it, I put 2 and 2 together, and I talked to John, and John said, "Yeah, that was my father. My father built those houses." And John would cry and cry.
Oh.
Later on, I did a TV pilot with Nicky Turturro, John's younger brother.
Oh yeah, that's really dope.
Yeah, that's my Turturro story.
That's your Turturro story. And so I asked you this earlier, and you said, "Well, I don't really know," but I always like to ask, like, what was the role that changed everything for you? Like,
I don't think there was any one role. In New York, at the time, there wasn't any film work. As a matter of fact, when I first started, it was against the law to film there under John Lindsay as mayor. So there was very little stuff that would come in, and when it did, all the big actors would get it. So I did a lot of stage. I did over 60 plays in New York. That's where I developed my ability using the method and using what I'm highly trained for to do. I came out here on that Spielberg film and never left, and then I started working in film and TV.
But you didn't have any favorite roles from when you did your time in theater?
Well, I did all original plays,
Oh.
but I've seen everything happen being in plays. I've seen the scenery fall down behind me. I've seen one of the older actresses fall into the orchestra pit.
Oh my goodness.
There was one time in the scene I had to murder somebody and the gun wasn't placed. But being with my training, for the play to move forward, that person had to die. So I grabbed them around the neck in a chokehold. I dragged them over to the fireplace, hit them over the head with the candelabra, and dragged them off stage so the play can continue.
Improvise.
Yeah, you
That's
gotta do
it's
what
called.
you gotta do.
You gotta improvise sometimes. And now you have said earlier in the interview that you're basically now busier than you've ever been.
Yes, this year has been amazing for me. Amazing. I'm attached right now to 10 features coming up. I have a film coming out in about 4 weeks. I have a funny role with David Spade from Saturday Night Live.
I love David Spade.
When this comes out, we had trouble shooting it because the crew kept laughing and ruining the takes.
Really?
I abuse him in the film. It's really funny. Then I have a film I just did with Cuba Gooding Jr. and Billy Zane called Beyond the Crashing Waves that'll be coming out. I have a Christmas film coming out, The Rose Wagon. I have wait a minute, I have a list.
There you go. It's like an acceptance speech.
I just did a
You don't want to forget anything.
a big film in Italy and Sicily, which is going to be up for next year's Foreign Academy Award called L'Ultimo Refugio. I started a film in Indiana called Live, Laugh, Die that should be coming out. I have one that just came out called Les Culprit that's streaming on Amazon Prime. I have one that's coming out called Near Myth, the Oscar Night Story, which I love my role in that. There's one role that I really love I love my role in that. I play a action star, and it's about a director. I can't give the whole thing, but it's about a director. But it's really more like a mockumentary, that's all I can say. I just finished The Best with Josh Gomez, who owns Magic Image magazine. This is his second film. I did his film Team of Two, and The Best. It's just finished shooting now. That's what I have coming out. I also produced Diez Segundos, which is winning all the film festivals now. That'll be at the Chinese Theater in 2 weeks. That I'm a producer on. That's shot in Puerto Rico, all in Spanish, half in black and white. Last year, I had This Land Is, which won an award at Maeya
Universal Multicultural Film Festival?
Yes, so I was there with that. I'm in the middle of now, not in pre-production yet, on a film called, beautiful script called Inside the Butterfly Net, a 2.2 million film, which I'm negotiating a couple of stars for that. The story on that is about a research scientist who comes up with a cure for this disease that's been incurable up to this point, but it's in this experimental stage, and coincidentally her daughter gets this disease and she has to figure out if she wants to risk her daughter's life to save it. And it shoots in the Everglades. She makes this serum from the butterflies in the Everglades. So that's what I got going on. I'm a busy boy, like I
You're
said.
a busy bee.
So?
And it's great to be, still thriving and working.
Oh, I love it. I never wanted to be a lead actor. Their careers go 5 years and then you wind up owning a 7-Eleven in Pacoima.
Yeah.
As a journeyman, as a supporting actor, I've had a career for 54 years. I'm working more than ever and I love it. I still love it. Every role I get, it still feels like my first.
Really? It's so great to have that kind of passion. So you and Spielberg have that in common.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for coming and talking with us today.
Thank you.
And I always like to let the people out there know where they can find you if they want to follow you on social
I'm
media.
on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. I mean, you can probably just search me and you can see me on IMDb. I think I have about 190 credits on IMDb.
I'm going to follow you on IMDb.
Yeah.
For sure.
And
also
be my
on Instagram.
Facebook friend.
I will, for sure.
And I'll see you at all the
shows things and all the rap
interviews.
parties.
Yes.
But it was truly my pleasure speaking with you today.
No,
Thank
it
you
was
so
my
much
pleasure. It
for
was my
sitting down
pleasure to
with
be
us.
here for you and May and all of you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. We'll see you soon.
Bye,
Don't tune out. We
everybody.
have more interviews coming up. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.